The start of my Dying Light 2 journey had me truly conflicted. On one hand, I was about to play the sequel to Dying Light 1, a really good game. How exciting! On the other hand, that very same sequel just blue screened my f***ing gaming PC before I even got past the main menu. Okay, to be fair, this particular blue screen was probably my fault. I hadn't updated my graphics drivers in a while, and I just started playing a new game out of the blue, so that probably sent my PC into shock. It's old and doesn't like when I do new things. Anyways, that's enough of an intro hook for this video. It's time to quit stalling and get down and dirty with Dying Light 2. As a bonus, I'll tell you how I feel about the game at the end of the video. The game starts out with a historical reenactment of me running towards the inflatable slip and slide at my friend Philip's 8th birthday party. I remember it like it was yesterday. It too had death-defying jumps as well as all the other kids falling to their doom behind me. Suddenly, after catching my breath, a tree started to speak to me. Oh wait, never mind, it was actually this guy that was speaking. His name is Spike. He was there when the light was dying the first time around. Spike led me through the woods and took me to a beehive. He instructed me to get honey from it. Now, I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure bees don't just let you stick your grubby mitts inside their hive and sample their honey. But hey, maybe Aiden, the guy I'm playing as, is an expert, because he was able to do it flawlessly. Next, I picked some flowers and we jimmy-rigged that shit into some medicine. In this game, if you get bit by a zombie or smacked upside the head with a warhammer, just take some medicine and you'll be good as new. I showed Spike my appreciation, then we moved on towards this house. Once inside the house, something happened that I'd like your opinion on, because even after playing it myself, even now as I'm watching this footage back, I still don't understand what the hell happened. Here you go. Ah!
What the?
Everything all right?
Yeah, just rats.
I think it's time we parted ways.
What?
Why?
I'm starting to worry about you. And you know our saying, if you're starting to worry about someone, it means it's time to go.
Wait. What does he mean he's starting to worry about me? I opened the door, some rats crawled around. He said, "What was that?" I said, "Oh, just some rats." And he said, "You're starting to worry me." That doesn't make any... After Spike was done being weird, I looted around and then Spike forgot that he didn't like me anymore. I went up to talk to him and he gave me some definitely expired beer. He told me he found a lead on the guy I had been searching for, Waltz. A guy in Villador knows Waltz, so I'm supposed to go find that guy. Me and Spike said our toodaloos and then I wandered the beautiful countryside. Stealthily executed this zombie, then almost shit my pants when I ran into this one. I got accustomed to the ways of the world, then stopped to take the thumbnail for this YouTube video. I made it to this broadcast station so I could have a one-on-one with my new best friend in Villador, the guy who knows the guy I want to find. After a minor setback, the boss of this area clipped itself through the garage door and got stuck. I gave it a good old whooping and then turned the power to the compound on. After a hard day's work, it was time to hit the hay. I had a dream about something that happened when I was a wee lad, and if you don't mind, I need to make a quick inside joke for the viewers that regularly frequent my stream. Oh my god, they're growing some men. Then Sasuke hit the lab with the Amaterasu and I woke up. It was time to make a call. The informant knew what I needed to know. We agreed to meet up in some underground subway tunnel. I made my way across the city and then found said tunnel. Once inside, I found a volatile and got my ass bit. Like bit. The kind of bit that affects you for the rest of the game. Just like in Dying Light 1. Why come up with new when you can just reuse the old? That's the spirit. The informant used his glow stick to save my life, then my screen started to glow blue. I awoke to the sound of grunting men and heard the informant getting interrogated. I made my way towards the sounds and eventually stumbled into the room with the enemies. I started fighting and now it's time for a little game. Who do you think won this fight? Me or this guy? Don't comment your answer. Send it to me by carrier pigeon. I found the informant. He seemed to be in good health, definitely not about to die, and we talked for a little bit. He told me to reach into his pocket and grab his GRE access key. He told me to take it to Fisheye and give it to some lady named Lawan, and to not let Waltz get it under any circumstances. A few more Borderlands character rejects later, Waltz showed up. I crawled into this vent to hide. Perfectly hidden from everyone, I was able to spy on the conversation. After a few words, Waltz started to rip the guts out of my friend. Seemed like someone I really don't care to talk to myself. One small chase sequence later and a swim through some waters that look about as clean as what's in Flint, Michigan, I was free. I'll surely never see that Waltz guy again. Then I stumbled my way into the local bar and, one sec, past me needs to tell you something. You guys like, oh, my proclamation. Sandwiches always taste better when you are not the one who made them. Them. Thankfully, I found a bunch of normal looking people here that could help me. Oh my god, they're hanging me. Luckily, I showed up in-game to save me. I only say that because everyone says I kind of look like this guy Hakan. Anyways, I got dragged into some room and stuck with an EpiPen. This lady used my head for batting practice, then I regained consciousness. Hakan explained that I needed a biomarker, something that monitors my infection's progress into full-on zombie every time I leave the light. Without it, people will look at me like I'm some sort of freak, even more than they already do. Hakan took me on a tour through the city and then introduced me to the peacekeepers. Seemed like nice people, probably won't ever see them again. We found this empty chest and I used a magic trick to pull a circuit board out of it. At this point, because the game willed it so, it became nighttime and zombies started chasing us. One small chase sequence through the city later, we were cornered. Then suddenly, the UV light kicked on, and we met this portly man named Killian. He taught me how to cook using a really large spoon, and then he let me sleep in his bed for the night. Then, me and Hakan broke into a GRE hospital, and I did not fail at sneaking past all these sleeping zombies. Hakan jumped onto this elevator, and it didn't fall. I jumped onto it, and it did fall. In order to have enough strength to make the jump up to where Hakan was, I was told to go find some drugs somewhere on the current floor I was on. Yes, you heard me right. I found me some drugs and then took me some drugs. Now I was strong. We made our way up to Hakan and he gave me a friendship bracelet. Remember those people at the bazaar who tried to kill me like yesterday? Well, they don't want to do that anymore. So we'll call that progress. I spent the better half of an hour trying to meet the people of the bazaar for my quest. Well, I did, and I hate them. I did some stupid side quest involving a goat and an electric fence. I won't go into detail because I don't want to. I tried out a parkour challenge and got a bronze medal, the best you can possibly get. I met up with Hakan again and it was time to meet the peacekeepers. Well, it was actually time to not meet them. See, the plan was for Hakan to distract them while I slipped into an airlock in the metro tunnels so I could get to the next area. But also Hakan was going to come too, somehow? I'm not really sure how that's supposed to work, but all I knew is that this was my chance. So I dove into the tunnels, climbed through an air vent, quote unquote, snuck past some zombies, ate some mushrooms, and found the airlock. Then the peacekeeper's baton found my head. I woke up to find I was being interrogated.
Maybe we'll start punishing you by cutting off your hands. That would improve your memory, huh?
I don't think science suggests that.
What were you doing 4 days ago?
I'm a pilgrim.
I don't even know what I did
4 days ago,
yesterday. I was tasked with the mission of finding out the whereabouts of a pair of brass knuckles called the Lazarus. They belong to the dead Commander Lucas, whose killer we're trying to catch, if you care about that at all. A weapon dealer named Hubie might know something about them. And look, there he is now. Hubie says a girl named Maya tried to sell him the Lazarus, so time to find Maya. Here she is. Maya's actually only like 7 years old or something. I used my superior adult brain to haggle her and convinced her, I shit you not, to sell me the Lazarus knuckles for 10 gold, instead of the 500 she originally wanted. Now that's a deal. I saw a poster of this girl, she looked kind of familiar, but I can't quite put my finger on where I know her from. I delivered the knuckles back to Ader and he asked me to find Lucas's killer before he'd let me through the tunnels. He did give me one helpful hint. Whoever killed Lucas carved his ranking tattoo right out of his arm. The PKs suspect it was someone from the bazaar who killed Lucas, so that's where I started. I talked to Carl. I do not like Carl. Then I met Sophie and Herman. Sophie I like. Herman picked me up by the throat with one arm. As impressed as I was, I do not think I like Herman. In order to gain Sophie's trust, I had to do some odd jobs for the other plebs at the bazaar, like this one, Damien. Damien has a job for me, but won't tell me what it is. He says to go talk to his business partners. I reluctantly oblige and head that way. I met Guard at the door, weird name, and he told me to go downstairs. I lied to this guy like 3 times and then he offers me the job. The job is for me to die. I declined. Time to go see what Damien has to say about trying to get me killed. He claims his job was to find new people around town and send them this way. He says he never knew people were dying and that he only was doing this because these bandits had his brother held captive. Damien pleaded with me to help him get his brother back. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, Damien died. And I shit you not, the second this man's skull hit the ground, Sophie radioed me that she was ready to talk. It's like she heard the quest complete noise too and knew it was her cue to talk to me. Sophie was quite impressed with me killing Damien. I mean, who wouldn't be? Sophie's looking for some crystal, not drugs, actual crystals. But plot twist, Sophie's idiot brother Barney actually went ahead on his own to find them. Sophie's worried he's gonna slip on a banana peel or something and ask for me to go find her brother. Well, I find Barney, clear the area of zombies for him, but he doesn't believe I am who I say I am. He doesn't trust me and thinks I'm just trying to steal crystals. I eventually bust in and Barney tells me his friend Birdie lured away some zombies earlier and he's probably in grave danger, and that he needs our help. Well, I find Birdie. He's in 100% perfect health, not a single scratch on him. Then he falls asleep right there on the spot. Wish I could do that. Barney used this opportunity to sneak away from me and get back to the bazaar. Yes, I went to go save this man's dying 12-year-old friend while he ran away because he still thought I was after his crystals. It may come as no surprise, but I really hate Barney. I found him back at the bazaar being weird, but anyways, I found Sophie and Carl next, having a discussion. Turns out, Jack and Joe, a couple of ex-bazaar residents that had a falling out with everyone, have taken over the town's water supply, and they're demanding crystals as payment for access to water. Sophie just wants to kill them. Carl wants to do as they say. Sophie asked me to be a bodyguard to make sure nothing sketchy happens while the crystal deal is going down. Seems simple enough. Well, I failed. Everyone died. Susie in her dying breath tells me that they took the crystals. And they took Carl too. But more importantly, they took the crystals. We have to get those back. And Carl too. The day of reckoning is here. It's time to f some bandits up. The game gives me a quick suggestion about stealth. I then proceed to unsuccessfully sneak up to the very first enemy I found. I guess stealth isn't for me. Several casualties later, it was boss battle time. I think I found the most unique way in the game to kill this boss too. Check it out. Oh, he's gonna fall off. Wait, he could fall off and die right there. One more hit. One more. I did it! I did it! The camp was liberated. Carl was freed. Crystals secured. I radioed Sophie but got no response. Carl tells me to go check on her at the Tango Motel, so I dash over there. I make my way to the top of the motel and find a dead peacekeeper officer. Barney catches me on the radio telling Ader that his men are dead and starts to become even more of a Barney than he already was. I fight a couple of underlings, no problem at all. Then the worst thing that could happen happened. Remember this guy, the one who can pick me up with one arm? Well, it's time to fight him. And by fight, I mean die to him. I later realized that what he actually did here is that he smacked me into an electrical box and fried me. Good first attempt. Next attempt went better. Smacked his noodle real good, climbed out of the pit, and went to go yell at Barney some more just because I hate him. I made a small miscalculation when leaving the motel, but woke up good as new. On my way back to the peacekeeper camp, I caused a small riot. I'll admit I really enjoyed watching these AI go at each other. The winner of this battle was me, because I was so amused. I went back inside for a moment, then came back out to see round 2 had begun. What a show it was. I got this raider to follow me into the camp. He took up a post on top of the tower when I turned my back for a second. I talked to Ader and he suggested we take over the water tower to convince the bazaar people to tell us who killed Lucas. Having absolutely no say in the direction of the game, I agreed. It was time to scale this tower and play with bombs, exactly what I love to do. At the top of the tower, I found 2 of the most oblivious goons I've ever seen in a video game. They did not notice a single thing I was doing right up until my feet hit the ground. I then proceeded to convince these boys that a life of crime was no life at all. I then decided to give water to the plebs of the bazaar rather than the peacekeepers. This wasn't a moral decision, you just get better access to cooler parkour techniques if you do this. It was time to break into Barney and Sophie's place. At least that's what Hakan told me to do. I was happy to go along. I love crime. Once inside, I discovered the apartment's secret wall thing and took a look around. Lo and behold, I found a piece of flesh with tattoos on it. Could this belong to the dead Commander Lucas, or is this someone else's arm flesh? It was time to find out. This was my absolute most favorite part of the game so far. It has never felt so good to beat a man up. Once I was done opening that can of whoop ass on Barney, I showed Sophie the chunk of arm. Sophie says that someone must have set them up. Likely story? After a short run for my goddamn life, I met Sophie and some other hooligans back at the bazaar. Sophie was telling Carl to get lost and that he wasn't the leader around here anymore. She also told me about her plan to cripple the peacekeepers by taking out their energy source, the windmill. We were gonna blow it up. Well, I say we, I mean me, because I'm the only one who actually does anything around here. I had to go find the charges. They were on a transport truck that got ambushed by the PKs. I found the convoy and cleared the area. Inside, I found the guard who had survived. Until this happened. While calmly running for my life, I searched through the surrounding crates looking for the bombs. I found 2 of them and brought them back to Alberto. Unfortunately, we needed 3 bombs, so we needed fertilizer to make the bomb. Remember Killian, the guy I met for like 5 seconds earlier, and then he let me sleep in his house? Well, he has the fertilizer we need. but he wasn't home for some reason. So I broke in, as anyone would, and looked around. Found the fertilizer in a locker and brought it to Alberto. I then proceeded to watch a man turn fertilizer into a bomb in about 30 seconds flat. An impressive record. I had a small standoff with the guards at the gate. He threw a knife at me. Not getting in this way, I see. Time to find another way. Here's the other way. When they built this base, they left a large chunk of wall down under the water here for some reason. I planted bomb 1, bomb 2, and finally bomb 3. It was time to head back to Alberto and make the boom. One boom later, the windmill did not fall down. With the power of magic or something, Alberto conjured up one more bomb. This one was armed with a timer that started about 5 seconds ago. I had to rush back to the windmill and plant it right at the very top. Did that, tried to do something cool and zipline away, didn't work, fell, and got a real nice up close and personal view of the explosion. When I got back, Alberto did not seem well. He had just finished a nice long chat with the peacekeepers, and he was ready for a nap. I told him he had done a great job with the plan and that he could rest easy. 07's in the chat for Alberto. That's the last thing I did on my first day of playing Dying Light 2. I figured that made for a good stopping point. It just felt right. Now I want to talk about why I think Dying Light 2 is an average game that I do not regret buying. Dying Light 2 is the sequel to an absolutely fantastic game, Dying Light 1. While Dying Light 1 wasn't without its flaws, overall, it was a masterpiece of a game. I think Dying Light 1 stands so tall that it makes Dying Light 2 look weak by comparison. The parkour to me feels the same as it always did, and I know I'll only continue to unlock bigger and better techniques as time goes on. The fighting, I feel, is in the same boat. I do have some friends that were suggesting that the combat feels a little hollow, but I really didn't notice anything wrong with it. Again, as you level and progress, you're gonna get cooler weapons and techniques. Something in me feels like those friends were comparing the end game of Dying Light 1, where you're fully leveled and have all this cool stuff, to the beginning of this game, Dying Light 2, where you're basically a pleb with only a few skills. But I think as time goes on, I'll be able to make better comparisons. Unfortunately, here in Dying Light 2, the AI for me are just weird. Sometimes they aren't looking at the people they're talking to, and they give off serious Oblivion NPC vibes with how weird and lifeless they can be. The story is average so far. I really don't feel like I've made it far enough to fully judge it though, but I'm not bored with it. For now, I can say I think that like with most games these days, this one could have used a few more months of polish before it released. I don't think it's bad, I don't think it's amazing, I think it's average, and I'm enjoying it so far. I can confidently say that in like 6 months or a year, when this game gets a little bit of a discount and it's had some patches and some more love, it's going to be a really solid buy and you should definitely pick it up. If you guys enjoyed this video and want to see a part 2, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let me know down in the comments section. If we get enough of a good response, then I'll do a part 2 where we keep playing through the story. If you want to watch my videos being filmed live no matter what game I'm playing, head on over to twitch.tv/finestxi and drop a follow. Don't want to wait for my next YouTube video? Then don't. Head on over to my Patreon page where you can gain access to the next unreleased video right now. A special shout out to my VIP patrons, Nick RSA, Dr. Johan, Calabag, Hughes6707, Jokes with Dad, Def Not Dallas, Moreno, and Willy Boy Wonder. You guys rock. My name is finestxi, and I'll see you in the next one.